This is the new Wellhouse Trento 3. It's based on the Ford Transit Custom, but not the normal van-based version, the Tourneo people carrier version, which has a few extra little bits of trim inside and a few other niceties. We'll detail those later in the video. This particular one is a long wheelbase, but you can also get them in short wheelbase. The difference is about 40 centimetres. I'm a big fan of long wheelbase, and it gives you a massive amount of extra interior space for only a modest increase in length. It fits in all the normal car parking spaces, so there's no downside to it really. Yes, in some places you might have to do a 5-point turn instead of a 3-point turn, but that's about it. When you get on a campsite, the difference is massive. We'll show you that later in the video. It's also available with 130 PS or 185 PS engines, and both are Euro 6, and both can be ordered with the optional automatic gearbox. A 6-speed manual is fitted as standard. This particular one is a 2021 spec model and has a few upgraded features, so let's take a closer look inside. Just pop the lights on. Well, the first thing to point out is just the sheer amount of space you get in the long wheelbase. I mean, I can stretch my legs out, I can put my arms out with the roof up, I can stand up and spread my arms out. You wouldn't think it was just 40 centimetres longer than the short wheelbase version. It really does translate into a lot more living space. Okay, so I've pushed the sliding seat all the way back now. This really does give you the sense of just how long this vehicle is. It's amazing to think it's only 40 centimetres longer than the short wheelbase. The difference in living space is immense. So while we're here, you can get access to the locker down there, which is great. You normally have to access that from the back with the seat slid to its normal travel position. In here, we've got a tambour door locker. It's quite deep, plenty of space in it. This particular one's shelved, but the hanging rail is fitted as standard, so you can always remove the shelf if you want to hang things up. Overhead locker. This is the usual deep padded locker, useful for all sorts of bits and bobs. But this is your bonus locker with long wheelbase. So again, another 2-shelved locker. You've got your solar panel regulator in there as well. And there's another locker down here. All your electrics are in there, easily to hand. That's where the chemical loo lives, but you can use it for foodstuffs, pots and pans, kitchen utensils too. Shut that up. And this hatch folds down. Got 2 massive lockers here as well. They're really quite deep. Great for pots and pans, crockery. You've got this opening drawer here. You've also got, if I press this catch here, you've got the hidden storage unit. So that's quite funky. I'll just latch that back up. One of the new items for 2021 is this Vitrifrigo fridge. As you can see, it slides out, 42 litres in capacity, but the key difference is it also uses less energy than the outgoing fridge, so that's a nice thing to have to extend your wild camping capabilities. As usual, you've got the full touchscreen display that controls all the lights, allows you to monitor the power from the solar panel. The solar panel for 2021 is 150 watts, so it's been increased in capacity, and this panel here controls its output. We've done a separate video on the control panel, so if you want to find out more details about that, have a look at the links in the description below or follow this link. As well as the upgraded fridge, new for 2021 is the Webasto heating system, complete with an app that links to your mobile phone. But basically it syncs with your phone and it allows you to adjust your heating from your mobile phone. Now this is great if you're out walking and you want the van to be warm when you get back. You can set it to heat up, say 20 minutes before you get back to the van, and come back to a nice toasty warm van. The other benefit is it acts as a tracking system, so it actually pinpoints on a map where your van actually is. So no more losing it in big car parks at supermarkets, so that's a real plus point. And it also acts as a sort of security system too. You know where your van is at all times. So that's well worth having on this new system. As well as the new Webasto system, there's also heated pads on the water tanks underneath the vehicle. So this protects it against frost and makes it ideal for all year use. And together with the 150 watt solar panel, which is also new for 2021, it really extends your wild camping capability. As with all Wellhouse models, you get the sliding seat too, which is a real plus point, especially in long wheelbase. With it slid all the way forward, you get an enormous amount of luggage space, so great for bulky bits of outdoor kit, kayaks, mountain bikes, e-bikes, barbecues, outdoor chairs that don't fold up very small, that kind of thing, so that's very useful. At the moment it's slid all the way back, and as you can see, the space is pretty epic. You wouldn't think you're in a vehicle that's only a little bit longer than a family saloon. So brilliant use of space, big plus point for the long wheelbase model. You'll also notice there's an enormous amount of roof space. I mean, I'm walking along this van and it's only the length of a family car. I'll also show you, just behind where the camera is now, the way Wellhouse builds these is they cut out a section behind the cab. But as you can see, I'll just flip this round. The way the roof system works, you've got this handy shelf here that's great for storing things out of the way, like bedding, when you get on a campsite. Obviously, you've got your usual stalk lights with several settings for brightness. It's worth mentioning as well that you get 1, 2, 3 3-point seat belts, complete with adjustable headrests, Isofix mounting points for child seats. So very safe system for all the family. So you've got 5 travel seats in total and a choice of 4 berths, or with optional bunks in the front, you can get another 2 berths in there, so creating up to 6 berths. But I know you're thinking, hang on, 6 berths but only 5 travel seats? Well, Wellhouse have thought of that. You can get bolt-in seats that attach to the floor rails. These weigh about 20 kilos each, so you can just lift them in and out, clamp them in place as and when you need them. So for transporting all the family safely, this vehicle can do it. The bed itself, as with all Wellhouse models using this sliding seat system, very easy to make up. Start the timer. So how long did that take? 10 seconds? It's a good bed. It's nice and flat and you sleep on the reverse side of it, meaning it reduces the wear on the travel seat side. They've also added an extra infill bit at the side here, so you get a good full width bed. I mean, excuse the shoes by the way, but I'm 6'2", I have got headroom and my feet aren't even off the end of the bed. There's nothing worse than having to faff around building a complicated bed when you get on a campsite. So a bed you can make up in 10 seconds is a real plus point. It's good and flat too, nice and wide. I'll convert it back, start the timer. So as you can see, it takes no time to convert it back to a travel seat either. One point that is worth mentioning with the Tourneo is that thanks to the twin sliding doors, you've got easy access to the rear of the kitchen cabinet pod, which makes it really easy to empty the chemical loo and access the service items. Both cab seats swivel round really easily to face the lounge area, and you can really take advantage of the sociable layout of the long wheelbase with the 2 cab seats swiveled. Very comfortable, as are all Ford seats. You've got the adjustable armrest that lifts up and down into various positions, and this multi-position dining table, which can be adjusted however you want it to be. On this side, you probably use the edge of the worktop. Obviously, there's a main dining table that sits on tripod legs that's stored in the back. So if you need a larger dining table, obviously you'd use that. But for just a mug of coffee in the morning, while your other half is still dozing, this is ideal. The other point to make about the swivel seats is that they swivel really easy because you've got a fly-off handbrake. That's a handbrake that lowers to the ground. On many camper vans, you have to have the handbrake off with the risk of rolling if you're not on a level pitch to rotate the seats. With the fly-off handbrake, it sits flush and doesn't get in the way of rotating the seat. Obviously, you still have to mess around with the steering wheel if that's in the way, but it makes it a lot easier to rotate the seats. Plenty of room on both of the seats, and even the driver's seat, which is sometimes restricted by the cabinets, because you've got a radiused edge on this cabinet, actually it doesn't get in the way at all. So it's a really usable travel seat. Not all driver's seats are. So that's a good plus point to the design too. Right, let's show you some of the new features in the rear. In the back of the Trento 3, we've got the usual parcel shelf. You can flip it up out of the way. I've unlatched the rear seat so it can be pulled all the way back, or it can be pushed all the way forward. Look at that, a bit of a cavern for space. So ideal if you've got bulky outdoor kit you want to store. I'll just pull this back, try and grab the right bit. That's a bit there, right. So I'll just pull it back to there, then you can see what we've got in here. This is your tambour door wardrobe you can access from the front. Useful storage cubby down there. Got a sealed gas locker here. This particular one's got the Gaslow option, but you can have removable bottles as well. There's an extra storage locker up here, and one of the new features for 2021 is this rear storage pack. So this has lots of velcroed pouches. This one hides the remote access point for the gas locker, so it just neatly covers up when it's not in use. And down here you've got another deep storage pouch. So they really are making use of every inch of space on the campervan to make sure nothing is wasted. Another option fitted to this particular van is the removable tow bar. Inside the Tourneo-based Trento, the dashboard is slightly different to the normal van-based versions. So you get a neat centre console with cup holders and a storage tray at the back, 12-volt socket, USB, and useful dash storage compartments. The one above the driver's side has a 12-volt socket and USB, as do most Transit Customs. You also get a soft to the touch leather steering wheel, which adds to comfort on long journeys. On the left hand side of the steering wheel, there's all the controls for the audio and the cruise control settings. On the right hand side, you've got all the controls for the phone system. Obviously it's Bluetooth, and you've got the computer settings. Being based on the titanium spec, it's a very well equipped vehicle as standard, and this particular one has been further enhanced with an optional automatic gearbox linked up to the 185 PS engine. So it should be fantastic to drive on long distances and a real boon. If I was going for one, those are the options I'd tick as well. I think automatics just make vehicles effortless, and you can concentrate on looking at the scenery and enjoying the drive rather than worrying about what gear you're in. Nice to have the option. A 6-speed manual comes as standard on both the 130 PS and 185 PS versions, but both versions can also be specified with an automatic gearbox. Ford's heating and ventilation system is really intuitive to use, and some models have the optional heated seats, which is a real plus in colder conditions, and a heated windscreen. The controls themselves, you can just turn one knob to get maximum aircon, and then turn it the other way to get maximum heating. So very intuitive to use. There's a big touchscreen display as standard, and obviously this can link to a smartphone to provide navigation and hands-free calling features.